we saw your film last week, and it was absolutely beautiful, Agni. It just blew me away. It was inspiring and heartfelt and horrifying at the same time. So thank you for that. I think it's a really important piece of work to be done at this time of our history, the way that things are going across the world. So thank you. Um,
Thank
so,
you for having us
oh,
in the
you're
picture.
welcome. uh, so when you met Gina at St. Petersburg and you started to hang out together, um, what made you want to focus on her as opposed to the other docu-series that you were possibly
Yeah.
thinking about, the drag queens?
Um, I don't know. There was no like a particular reason that I decided to focus on her. It just was a feeling because luckily we had this time to just to hang out, and through this time, I don't know. I was amazed by her persona
How
because
could you not
back
be?
then she was not yet doing like all this crazy costumes. And also I was lucky to witness her change, like from a kind of conventional drag performance to more artistic. And that's when we were at her house once, and she just took like, I didn't understand what she was doing. She just took like a duct tape, I don't know, some like garbage, and started to do something. And in like in a couple of hours, you see like a beautiful headpiece, or I don't remember what was it, but it was something like wow.
Mm,
So all these little things together made me think that I might not need other protagonists.
mm, mm,
Also, she's very funny, and it was very easy to be around her.
mm. She's such an engaging performer. Yeah, yeah. From watching just the one film, totally mesmerized. Um, where do you feel like artists get their inspiration from? Is it like a collection of things that then suddenly you have become an impulse for you have to express it, or is it more sort of calculated? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, I think well, I guess for each artist it's their own way, but Jenna's art is coming from a place of fear.
Mm,
Um, and well, it's not in the film, but we spent so much time together, and I know about her childhood, and I know how difficult was it for her to grow up in this place and to lose parents. So all this, I think, was kind of, um, she was holding it for such a long time inside, and then it's amazing that she found this form of expression. This, um, but also I think it's a combination of working, reflecting on your fears, but also looking for love, because like all of us, we're looking for love,
yeah.
especially when you're lacking love in your life from the early age. So I see it as, I don't see it as scary like costumes or performances. I see it as a very beautiful thing. And for people who think that it's scary, I would say that they need to improve their critical thinking and educate themselves a bit more.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really interesting comment about kind of expanding our consciousness, our experience, and all that kind of stuff. And it goes throughout life, doesn't it? To constantly try new things, read new things, expose yourself to new things. That's lovely. So some of the shots of the Magadan scenery are awe-inspiring, like at the beginning of the film and the snow. But it was also where the Gulag camps were. Does that affect the atmosphere of the town or how you live in a place like that and how you went about filming and you know constructing and creating?
Well, in the first place, when because we were introduced through another drag queen, and I was searching for a particular protagonist, like from not very obvious places, not from Moscow or St. Petersburg, from like small towns of Russia. So when somebody told me that there is a drag queen from Magadan, I was just like, wow, this is impossible combination,
Yeah.
because everyone in Russia knows this place as the most, like, first of all, super far. Nobody ever would go there without any like real reason to go. And historically, it's a very sad and scary place, because so many people died there in the concentration camps. And basically, like, the young generation is the kind of descendants of prisoners. And all of these people, we all, but particularly they're carrying this weight of history.
Yes.
And for me, it was absolutely incredibly interesting to meet Jen. And for sure, I thought a lot how we can elaborate on this in the film. And we even had a trip to search for the abandoned concentration camps with Jenna, and she did a performance there, but in the end we decided to not include it in the film. So yeah, it was always there. I mean, like, we always try to kind of incorporate this historical aspect of where she's coming from, because it's not only in books, it's in people's heads. And for example, I think that Jenna's grandfather doesn't allow him to to create a space in his heart for acceptance, also because he's definitely from USSR time, but also the fact that he lived so many years in this place, I think affected him a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So just following on that, because you went to the grandparents' house and did some filming, and I really liked that, because it felt as though you were just a fly on the wall, as they say. Did they change how they were around you? Because you got some very raw, true, authentic emotions and feelings, and it was just heart-wrenching. What was that process like with the four of you?
Well, it was not easy always. In the beginning was great when we came for the first time in winter. They were very welcoming. They're very nice people, and we were not staying long. Jenna had this precise idea that she wanted to do this kind of public coming out with the performance on the ice, and then in the supermarket. And the outcome was horrifying, because a lot of local social media publics, they for the next days they were writing only about what Jenna did, and for sure grandparents were not happy about it, because her grandfather is kind of like known in the city, in the village more where he lives. But so when we came back in summer, the mood was a bit different. But still, I mean, we spent more time there, and we were not filming all the time. We were gardening, and we were, I don't know, picking berries and going fishing together with Jenna's grandfather, just to, I don't know, build back the trust.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were not harassing them with the camera every day. It was very balanced process. But when they are fighting, for sure, I mean, I understand that for Jenna it's a very hard experience to be in such a fight, but for us it was also, because you don't know, like, you in the moment you're trying to understand where you should not overstep. And especially for my cinematographer Ruslan, like to point the camera on someone who's yelling and who's like very upset, it's hard. It's very hard. But we, we spoke a lot with Jenna, and we had such a great trust. So she kind of like told us that we have to be there even in such a moment. Like,
yeah, I agree. It kind of, one of the things that gave it such heart and tenderness and gravitas as well was witnessing that dynamic. And for a lot of queer people, the family dynamic is fraught sometimes, isn't it, with all sorts of complexities. So that was wonderful. The other scenes, coming back to the actual film, some of the scenes I loved. Well, I loved all of it, but like the Ferris wheel, when you had that set of the
yeah,
Ferris wheel, and then Gina on the Ferris wheel. What I And also when Gina went back and was just gutting fish, there was such moments of stillness and quietness that gave me such a sense of relief, and kind of to be able to absorb the story without it being sort of splattered over my head. Um, uh, was that in the editing process, or did you storyboard some of that and thought, okay, we're going to get this shot of the Ferris wheel, and this is the feeling and what I want to go for? Does that make sense?
yeah. Well, no, there was never a script or storyboard. Everything is all the solutions were, created in the moment. I had, like I was doing a diary. I was writing every day what we were filming and what was going on, just to have this ability to go back and to analyze it after in editing. That helped me a lot in the beginning. But yeah, we never scripted or like planned anything beside a couple of performances which had to be planned before filming.
Yeah.
No, we were just it's in Magadan, and we were just walking there, and we saw this how you call it, like Luna Park, and in the moment we got the idea like maybe we should do something there, and then we came up with the idea that Jenna gonna be in this golden thing. So everything was just like,
Organic.
yeah.
That can sometimes be the best sort of art, isn't it, when it is organic and spontaneous, because you're sort of almost channeling the forces that happen with you in that moment.
Actually, in this particular moment, there was also a lot of tension because Jenna's grandfather told her when we were coming back in summer that she should not bring any costumes, any like high heels or makeup, because he was kind of traumatized by the winter events. And so he told Jenna specifically in this day, if he will find out that she's doing something in the city, like there will be a lot of troubles. That's why we decided to cover her face with with gold. And when somebody posted on Instagram that, oh, maybe it's like Jenna Marvin again back in Magadan with performances, like one of us wrote like, no, it's not her, like we're somewhere else.
Did you find that that you had to do that a lot? I was thinking about the wonderful scene with the flag, when Jenna went dressed in the flag, and then the scene afterwards being submerged. Were there lots of times, and that when you went there and Jenna was arrested? I mean, the courage and the bravery of all of you to be out there doing that I was on the edge of my seat, just like, oh, because I'm not sure I could do it. So I'm really pleased that there are courageous people like yourselves and your team who do it. I mean, you talk about it coming from fear, and yes, it can do, but sometimes fear stops people, doesn't it? And we just retreat. And then some people like yourself and other activists go, F it, I have to do this. This is my calling. I have to do this or not. I've forgotten what my sort of question was. Did you have a lot of harassment? I mean, what you filmed, there was some, but was there more than you actually showed us?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, it was always around, and I have to say we were extremely lucky. I think we did several other performances which you saw in the film, but also the ones that you haven't seen, which could end up in a completely different way. We could get arrested even before, or we could get beaten, because there was sometimes there was, like, for example, Jenna was doing something on the street, and I hear behind my back, like, because people sometimes we always try to not be super close to Jenna. That was always her wish, that people don't associate camera with her performance, that it's like another shooting. So we were trying to, like, to stay a bit further away. And a couple of times I heard behind my back, like, such a scary things, like two men would stay behind me and discussing if they should go and, like, beat her up now or not. So for sure, when you hear this, you stop thinking about, like, what we're filming. You just think, like, what are you gonna do if they decide to go and do what they like discussing? But in the end they decided to not, and they left. And I actually told Jenna this maybe like a year later, because but she's conscious of it as well. It's always around.
Yeah. So we're coming to the end of this meeting, which is a shame because I could talk with you all day. So finally, so there are many ways to view films and TV, streaming and all that sort of stuff. Why do you think people should see this work of art in the cinema?
Well, just to get inspired. I think Jenna's story is very inspiring, and for young people, for young queer people, I think it's an example of how you can speak up for yourself and to not hide. I think this is important, but also I encourage the older generation to come to watch, because no, I mean, like, in a broad way, because I think it can be also educative, and as I said, like, maybe it's too early to speak about supporting in, like, for people like Jenna's grandfather, but maybe you can find some compassion and a place for acceptance in your heart by watching the story. So it's for everyone. Come and watch our film.
Well, I would recommend it at cinema because just the vision, not just the visuals, but the visuals, seeing it on a big screen, you get that wave of what you're communicating so brilliantly and so beautifully and so courageously. So I thank you from my heart.
Thank you.
Good luck with it all, and I hope to see more of your work soon.
So much.
Bye.
Bye.